McIntyre.
Oh,
Michael, how are you?
Hello.
You look good. You have lost quite a lot of weight since last time you were on the show. I think you have.
Do you think?
Yeah, I know you were saying you were going to try and lose some. You've lost some, definitely.
Well, I don't think you've done me any favours sitting me between those two men.
No.
That was what I did. I think I've just had one of the least manly moments in my entire life.
What?
I met the world heavyweight champion in makeup. I'm sitting there, they're putting foundation on my face. She's saying, would you like us to do your hands? Just step back, it's the heavyweight champion of the world.
Well, he wasn't going to look at you and think, OK, here's someone cut from the same cloth as me anyway.
I suppose that's
He wasn't going to think he's a tough guy.
If I'm honest, I do find boxing a little bit girly. I mean, the fact is they fight for a belt and a purse.
Michael, as I was saying, you do look fantastic, but last time on the show you were definitely looking a bit bigger. Look, you remember? Look, you were definitely looking a bit chunkier.
Oh, that's very generous.
You were, and when you left the couch, I don't know if you saw what you did. Look at the couch. Look at that. And now you've had it way up.
Well, I tell you what happened is I actually had a moment. I had a moment in my life when I thought I'd better maybe go on a diet now. I was on a plane. One of those sort of relatively small planes, you know, with the ones where the captain turns around and sort of says, are you ready? You know, before you take off. Just slightly on the back foot. And the stewardess came over and she said, can I just move you over to seat 6A on the other side? And I said, why? Give me a reason for this. She said, it's probably best you don't ask too many questions and just move your stuff over. And I said, is it all right, maybe if you know, I can't just move, I'm quite comfortable here. And she said, it's captain's orders, then it's best that you just move your stuff over. It was to balance the weight of the aircraft. How depressing a moment in your life is this? If I can't just get everyone on the flight on this side just leaning towards the window, and Fatty, over there on your own, please.
You'd suddenly become ballast.
Yeah.
And I hope you moved. I hope you obeyed her.
Yes, I did. I moved, and we landed.
OK, and now what a great year or great 6 months it's been for you, because you know, I was aware that you were out on the circuit and I was saying this comedian's great, he's doing it. Suddenly you're just about as big as a comedian can get in this country. You're selling out. I know you played Manchester this week to 14,000 people.
Yeah.
Well, it's an incredible. This tour is doing great business for you.
Yeah,
your
well,
DVD is the fastest selling DVD in the history of comedy DVDs, I believe.
Yeah, it was the highest selling. We sold a lot of DVDs.
That's
very
incredible.
exciting.
Congratulations.
But we put the tour on, and I announced it on this show, and you never know how it's going to go. But yeah, it's been amazing. I've had so much fun. I mean, I'm pretty flat out. I mean, it's every single night. I'm a bit of in a daze, and the arenas are. I mean, they're huge. It's a very different type of comedy.
Well, but I mean, you're quite big and physical on stage. You know, I don't mean big. I mean, you know, a big performer.
You have to fill it. You have to run around.
Have you changed your performance because of that?
Well, yes, I suppose. I think I've always wanted to be on a big stage. I'm better on a big stage, and I didn't know that until I started. But I'm very aware of the people at the back. I mean, like I've done the O2 a few times. I'm doing it again next week. And it's so, if you must have been there, I mean, it's so enormous.
Yeah. But this must be, I guess, the dream of a comedian is you want to reach an audience, you want to be popular, and therefore when you get to this scale, you're, you know, as big as you can be. It's like Steve Martin, Billy Connolly, the big names. You're up there with them now, which must feel, I would have thought, great, but also probably a bit strange.
Well, it's a different kind of comedy because I perform big set pieces, I suppose, like on the DVD, as opposed to when you're in a theatre, you can engage with people a bit more. And I have engaged a little bit, but it sort of backfired last week in Glasgow. There was a guy in the front row and he had some glasses with him, sort of spectacles, and I said, I just saw him sitting there, because normally I just think I've just got to perform big and not get involved. I just said, what have you bought your glasses for? You know, you're going to be reading during my show, do you have no high hopes for entertainment? And he said, I've got a lazy eye. And that sort of shifted the atmosphere slightly in the room. And so I tried to change the subject. I said, what's your name? He said, it's Ian. I couldn't resist it. Is that with two eyes? It was there for the table.
The Comedy Roadshow has been a huge hit on TV as well. And you have a lot of younger, well, not necessarily young, but you know, up-and-coming comics on the show.
Yeah, it's been great. We've managed to break people. You know, it's good to have an opportunity to do that. Because I've been on the circuit, you know, for a long time, and I know that there are people with great acts out there, and it's hard to know, you know, where to place them. And you know, they weren't doing very long. It was like 7 or 8 minutes. So you know, it's really nice to take comedy on the road as well, because it always seems to be in London, and regional audiences were so happy that we were there, and there was such a great atmosphere. And because it is essentially live comedy, and live comedy really benefits from an audience who are up for it.
You need an audience who know what they're going to get and are looking forward to it.
It's unbelievable. And, you know, Manchester and Glasgow and Belfast. Belfast was a great gig. It was a slightly odd experience being there. I stayed in the Europa Hotel, which is... it's been bombed more than any other hotel in Europe, and they tell you that when you check in. Just, they literally go, welcome to the Europa... Like it's a selling point. Welcome to the Europa Hotel. We've been bombed more than any other hotel in the whole of Europe. Would you like a wake-up call? Am I going to need one?
Yeah, presumably, when you're on the road, something like that would occur to you, you could put that in your act. Is that how you write material, or do you clear a sort of set period of the day to come up with new stuff?
Well, on the road show I did. I spent 2 or 3 days before in every place we went, just literally looking for jokes. You know, things happen like when I did my gig in Sheffield, they didn't let me into my own show because I didn't have a pass. And this was good enough to open with.
Yeah.
You know, I show up at the venue, he's like, pass please, mate. And I'm like, it's my show. I didn't want to sound arrogant, but it is my show. And he looked at me and went, rules are rules. And I said, come on. It's my show. I mean, do you know the pass is just a photo of my own face? And he said, of course I do. I've been checking them all day. It's my job. I know exactly what the pass is. Where's yours? And I said, well, look, it is just my face. Do you mind if I use my own face as the pass? He said, can the Queen use her face as a tenor? No, get your bloody pass.
So he had a point.
Yeah. So something like that happens, and you go, well, this is fantastic.
Well, what about stuff that isn't about you as such? What about, do you ever look to news stories for comedy as well? Do you look at big events, big happenings, that kind of stuff?
Well, I had not really, but occasionally something occurs to me. I had this joke that I was doing, which involved Michael Jackson. And there's a bit of a tension every time you say it. It's a silly little joke,
yeah.
which was I was talking about swine flu and how I was very worried that when we announced the tour, swine flu hits, and I was worried that, you know, how bad is it going to get? I didn't want everyone to be in the audience with, you know, sitting with the masks on and the gloves. Isn't it slightly ironic that Michael Jackson dies just as his look comes into fashion? That was just, you know, that was the...
It's not meant bad.
So this is me on the cutting edge of comedy. I actually had a terrible incident with this joke. My wife loves this joke. I didn't even know if it was particularly good. We were on holiday, and I'm always very nervous to try out new jokes with my wife. And I said, oh, I've got this Michael Jackson joke. And she just couldn't stop laughing. She said, that's hilarious. And then I got this award. And I've never won an award, and it's quite nerve-wracking. When you win an award for comedy, I think you have to be funny when you receive it. It's not like you win for art direction, you draw a little picture. You have to prove your worth. Otherwise, I think they just take it away there on the podium. So I said, what shall I do? And she said, just do something really quick. Do the Michael Jackson joke. Just do the Michael Jackson joke. It was at the GQ Awards. And look, you know what it's like, there's all these famous people. There's Mickey Rourke is there, and you know, Lily Allen is, and Kate Moss. And I'm like, the last thing I want to do is win an award for comedy and die on my arse in front of all these people. And she just said, just do the Michael Jackson joke and just get out. Just do it and then just get out. Just don't faff around. She also said, it's a strong category. It's unlikely you'll win. Thanks for your support. So I'm sitting there and I win the award, and she just looks at me and goes, do the Michael Jackson joke. Don't mess it up. She tends to end most things with don't mess it up. Unload the dishwasher. Don't mess it up. So she says to me, do the Michael Jackson joke. All I'm thinking is do the Michael Jackson joke. I get to the podium. I'm walking up the thing. I've got Kelly Brook standing there with the award, you know. And I'm just thinking, do the Michael Jackson joke, do the Michael Jackson joke. I look into the front row. No word of a lie. Jermaine Jackson is sitting there. Jermaine Jackson, with the sunglasses on, big beaming smile. Look at me going, who's this guy? He looks kind of funny. I'm like, the panic. I just got the award and went, thank you, and walked straight up. Unbelievable. Not what you want.
You must miss being at home because you're touring all over the place. You must miss being with your wife, and you've got 2 sons, both sons.
I have 2 middle-class sons.
2 little boys
called Lucas and Oscar.
Lucas and Oscar.
Yeah, they're doing very well. I mean, I feel terrible. They're not very happy with me because I haven't been there a lot.
Well, Daddy's not there, but they will understand one day that you're out there earning.
I hope so. I hope so. And I was thinking about that the other day. I mean, there's so many jokes about them in my act as well. I hope that they can see that and that'll make.
Well, what kind of jokes do you tell about your boys?
Well, they're not always favourable. I talk about how my 4-year-old has no manners. He can speak now, but he's no manners. I mean, he finishes his lunch and he just goes, ice cream! I want ice cream! I'm like, what do you say? I want ice cream now! What do you say? Give me ice cream! What do you say? Ice cream! Hold on. This goes on for about 15 minutes.
Is he from Asia?
Yeah.
A little bit. Kind of Korean accent. I was like, place it. Ice cream!
Give me ice cream now! And then he says, please. He goes, please. And then you sort of have to give it to him because he said, please, and it's kind of confused.
Well, yeah.
I think he thinks you have to shout about something for 15 minutes, then you say, please. And I need to nip that in the bud as a parent, otherwise he's going to be on his first date at 18, finishing off dinner going, sex! I want sex now! Yeah. Sex, 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 sex!
But Michael, you know,
please.
If it weren't for social convention, that is what we would all do, isn't it?
Ironically, that's how he was conceived. Hey, well, congratulations. What an incredible year. And I'm thrilled because you absolutely deserve it. You've got some more dates in the tour to go. I guess it's all sold out, though, isn't it? Yes, yeah, I think it is. I finished on December the 2nd.
And then what, a nice break? You're going to have a holiday or just spend some time with the family?
I'm going to have a holiday. DVD's out on Monday. I'm going to write a book next year, and then we're doing another roadshow.
Well, and then what, another big tour? You're going to leave it for a while?
I'm going to leave it for a while, I think, yeah. I finally bought a house, Jonathan. That's my big news.
So you've moved house?
Yeah, well, I've never owned a house. I missed, you know, when everyone was getting on the ladder. I didn't get on the ladder.
But if you didn't get on the ladder back then, you can't get on the ladder now.
I was in real trouble. Yeah. I thought I'd never get on the ladder. There was this ladder.
But you did well enough to climb on the ladder.
I can't believe I got on the ladder. I kept missing that. Every time I tried to get on the ladder, they would pull the ladder. I want the bloody ladder. But now I'm on the ladder.
You're a late ladder arrival.
I rented for like 15 years. I rented, and I just want to tell you this because I think it's funny. I was renting once and I lived above my landlord, who I never met. He went through an agent. Never met him. Never said hello to me, anything. But we did hear him and his girlfriend having sex every Friday night after the Jonathan Ross show. But I mean, I'm telling you, like clockwork. It was hilarious because we would be in on a Friday night because I should be working on a Friday night. This is how bad things were going. The show would finish and then we'd mute our telly and we would hear it start. And let's be honest, he was an underachiever. It was, you basically have about a sort of 90 seconds of her going, oh, 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 and then it would just end with, and this would happen every week. And then I started,
that sounds like a joyless relationship.
My wife and I would then pretend to have sex at the same time and I would outlast him a little bit every week.
I don't know if I want any of this in my head now. I'm gonna, when the show's on...
I think you should be flattered.
Yeah, but when the show finishes, I'm gonna think he started.
I know. Oh, God, they're gonna be sitting there watching this, and he's like, this is putting my weekly sex in jeopardy.
It might.
Maybe there's more than one. Maybe there's couples all over the country thinking, is it me?
There was something in the paper this week that apparently this show tops the list of things that women think about during sex.
Really?
Don't sound surprised. There was an actual audible intake of breath and a no.
Maybe when you've got me and Gerard Butler on it, I can understand. Is that for me or Butler?
Who do you think it was for, really? I can ask you this frankly and point blank. Were you always pretending?
That sounds like something you say at the end of a relationship when you're being dumped.
Well, in a way you are, because that's all we have time for. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Michael McIntyre.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It's brilliant.
Thank you, Mr. Michael McIntyre, ladies and gentlemen. All right.